Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I am Dare, your Dungeon Master for tonight, and I want to welcome you to the Dragon Realms. Thank you all for joining us on this special episode. We're going to take a little sidestep and do a one-shot filling in something that's going on while our heroes are at the Great Library. Tonight we have Michael. Michael, would you tell us who you're going to be playing?
Hello, everyone. Tonight I will be reprising my role of Elias Heartstrings, a dragon-born bard.
And James, would you introduce your character, please?
Hello, everyone. My name is James, and I am also reprising a character by the name of Grissom Gnarl, a Minotaur wizard fighter.
That should be a lot of fun for this. And next we have Rylee. Rylee, would you introduce your character, please?
I am playing Edalin Sloan, a barbarian paladin lizard folk, brand new to the campaign.
Fantastic. And there's a story there to be told as well. And then we finally have Izzie. Izzie, would you introduce your character, please?
Good evening, everybody. And tonight I will be playing the role of he who plunges through the greatest depths, also known as Plunger, who is a Triton warlock of the Fathomless.
Fantastic. We got quite the diversity this time. So, Triton, Minotaur, Lizard Folk, and Half-Elf. Or no, Dragonborn. Sorry. I was flipping over to Willowwand. All right. So, we are going to be going on an adventure. So, we will start out with Elias Heartstring. Elias, you are on the Fancy Guppy. Mm-hmm. And suddenly, Monet, the magistrate of Jormungand, appears in front of you and says, Elias, you are needed. And says, come take this take hold of the staff of teleportation, and we will transport back to Jormungand.
At once, Monet. I am, of course, as always, at the service of our ruler, and I sling my new lute over my back and adjust my longsword and grab hold of the staff.
The crew of the Fancy Guppy notes your departure, and you are teleported back to Jormungand. And there in front of the great Dragon Island, Skilpata, you are in the midst of a crew of interesting folk. Monet introduces you, and to your left is a Triton merfolk named Plunger. To your right is the famed wizard fighter Grissom Gnarl, and in back of them is a tall, powerfully built lizard folk named Edalin Sloan. You all have been gathered to go back up and support a group of people that are a legion of soldiers that are going to be traveling north to Moscaderm. We have word from Kursk that an army is moving north to attack the city, and you are being sent to back up those that are manning the walls and the troops that we are sending. So you will go up to the top level and go to the battleship, and you will be sent to the city to back them up and help fight for the city till reinforcements can arrive. Are there any questions? Do you have anything that you all need before you go?
Plunger raises his hand and asks, how do you all feel about water elementals? Does anybody have any strong positive feelings about water elementals? I have personal reasons for this question.
I have no objections myself.
We'll circle back to that.
Monet says that you are welcome to use whatever servants that you have to help defend the city. The great dragon, Fruzar Mimbrenth, will be assigning you your positions and is lord of that city. They will tell you what you need to do and where you need to go. Good luck, and please head up to our dreadnought battleship now, up on the landing field. And so you all are directed up to the landing field, where you come to what is quite possibly the largest ship you've ever seen. It is a virtual floating fortress that flies through the sky. It easily houses over 1,000 troops for transport, including steeds and supplies. It is the size of a moving castle. So, and you all are ushered on board. You are assigned your spot. There are no individual bunks because there are so many soldiers on board. You all are basically on deck with small tent shelters above you if you want to get out of the sun or the rain. And after about 30 minutes after you board, the ship launches into the air and begins to head north across the plains. Anybody want to do anything while you are traveling?
I will try to acquaint myself with my fellow travelers. First, I will reintroduce myself to Grissom. We are not like best friends, but as an emissary of Skilpata, we have briefly met before, and I say, I hope your shop is going well, good sir.
Oh, it's quite recovered nicely after and I glance over at the warlock lizard folk attack. How have you been faring?
Oh, I am fit as a fiddle, and I pat my lute. As little bard humor there, but I'm glad to hear you're doing well, and make the finest acquaintances. I hope that we will become the best of companions. Turn to it's Edalin. Edalin. I do apologize if I could speak half as well as I could sing. I would rule this world, but I do not. So Edalin. May I ask, how long have you been with this city, or are you a recent resident?
I have been here since I was born. My family for generations have been here. It has been in my bloodline to serve my city and my queen. Mostly in my bloodline, at least. I have brought honor to this city, and I look forward to fighting with you to bring more honor upon me, my bloodline, and my city and my kingdom. We shall spill much blood and get much honor on our names.
I certainly hope we do not spill too much blood, because I just had this doublet cleaned, but
being a pretty boy will not help you in this city.
He adjusts his doublet, and you can see that there is chainmail underneath. He lets it kind of show beneath a little bit that he's not completely helpless. But he turns to Plunger, and he goes, I have traveled the wide world, and I have seen many things and met many people, but I must confess I have never met a Triton folk before.
Yes, many of us come from the plane of water or live in the great depths of the sea below. Side note, what is the name of the nearest ocean? Like the oceans say that Skilpata is an island on? Is that something? Sea of
Swords?
Sea of Swords. I have spent many decades beneath the waters of the Sea of Swords. It is only recently that I have surfaced for one great purpose, for my patron, the Black Pearl. Are any of you interested in a hot single water elemental?
I'm sorry, did you say a hot? Water elemental?
single and looking for a spouse worthy of an ancient godlike being.
Oh my.
You see, I am an emissary.
I see.
He
I think I'm good right now. Thank you.
Keep it in mind, just an FYI, that this option is on the table. This is my greatest quest.
Of course.
It's like you're standing there with a little poster of the water elemental, like, see, beauty is here.
I do have some woodcuts and etchings if you are interested.
I feel like those might be a little more risque than I'd be interested in seeing right now. Could we get like a description of everybody, just so we all know? Because the two of us are new here, so it might be a good idea to give everyone an impression of what they're seeing.
Yes, I'll go very quickly since listeners have already heard mine. I am a firmly middle-aged, golden-descended dragonborn. I have a little round spectacles on the end of my snoot. Previously, when they met me, I had very travel-worn and patchwork clothing. You see that the service to Skilpata has served me well, and I now have very nice, fine clothes and leatherworking and a fine chainmail hidden underneath, and a resplendent hat with a feather out on top that has replaced my shabby, shapeless one. But he is an extremely affable and easygoing bard who seems to get along with everyone. And that is Elias Hotstrings.
Across from him stands Grissom Gnarl. He is a 6'5" minotaur. A little bit of gray around his snout and around the edges of his horns. He stands confidently at all times, wearing a very resplendent breastplate and a long cloak. Carries a scimitar at his side, and wears a stout belt with a lot of red filigree etched into it. And he seems to hover about 2 or 3 inches off the ground for some reason.
Curious.
Edalin, she has dark greenish scales and lizardy skin, with nice armor with blue accents and sashes, and she tends to hold herself with a bit of a mightier than thou kind of hold, and kind of tilts her snout down at any of you all, but eagerly looks forward to the battle as she keeps looking down at her weapon and looking off in the distance.
Plunger is a Triton, which I kind of imagine they're less on the human-looking end of that scale and more like, I'm imagining which is basically, apparently I learned the same character, Abe Sapien or the guy from The Shape of Water, which I never watched, so I don't know what that's called. But needless to say, they are, athletic, lithe, not super tall. They've got fins on the sides of their face and sort of a mohawk-looking fin. They wear sort of minimal armor. Mostly sort of, they've got like a leather harness sort of situation, lightly covering their, sort of giving some guard to their chest. They've got like they do have a sort of talisman wrapped around right under their rib cage, showing a large black pearl. And that's like the most nicest looking part of any of their outfit.
And Grissom,
yes?
When you look at Edalin, Edalin looks very familiar.
Lizard folk, are we going to have a problem today?
No. I am not a problem child. I am but the savior to my family bloodline, and I bring honor upon my family. I don't know who you have me confused with, but I have done no wrong, and I continue to do good. I am good.
That's wonderful. I've had some issues in my shop with some lizard folk recently, so just wanted to check with you.
I heard. It was in, how you say, newspaper in city. That's how I know.
Oh.
No more, no less.
All right, then. I will hold you to that.
All thanks to the journalistic integrity of Lou Reggie McDougal.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Pardon for the interrupt, though.
Perfect.
Right? And as you all are introducing yourself, a general who is a dragon folk walks up to you and introduces himself and says, I am General Bronk. You have been sent by Skilpata to reinforce our troops with your special skills. We are going into battle. The news is that there is a large force of unknown origin traveling north across the plains. This may be tied with the necromantic problem that we have been having. Whoever has been causing that may be escalating to an act of war. So if you need anything, again, my name is General Bronk, and you may contact me through any of my aides on board if you need it. We will be arriving in Moscaderm in 2 days' time. And as he finishes that, he turns and starts yelling at people to stow gear and prepare for the trip.
I ask if any of my compatriots would like to do a little light sparring, because I must confess, while I am a very accomplished bard, my longsword skills are a little rusty. Perhaps a little riposte might serve me well.
Gladly, my friend. Gladly.
What type of weapon do you have,
She
Edalin?
just smiles, a little bit toothy, and brandishes her silver mace. This beauty right here, passed down. Oh, that's southern. Hold on. This beauty right here, my silver mace, passed down from many generations. Bestowed upon me with honor. I shall beat you. Shall be fun. Let us play.
Do try not to kill me. He slowly pulls out a long sword. He said, "This was actually passed down to me as well from a dear friend of mine, tabaxi banjo player by the name of Thistlefoot. I have since made very good friends with an armor maker in town, and he has referred me to a place that has modified it slightly, shall we say. And you see that it glints with magical light slightly, and he engages you in combat.
Exciting.
I don't know if we need to roll for this. If you want to do just like a quick little roll to see.
Yeah, do a quick initiative.
See, that is
18 for me.
19 for me.
Okay, so Elias gets to get in the first hit, and Elias,
That is
roll for your attack.
That is a 9 with my proficiency is yes, that's 14. No wait, I have a +2 longsword, so 16. Does that hit?
Nope. It
Yeah,
glints
I think
off
so,
her
right?
armor as she dodges.
And of course, I have more than one attack, but for simplicity's sake, we'll go.
Yeah, just do single attacks.
Yeah.
And so, Edalin, what are you going to do?
She's gonna swing her mace a little bit, kind of try and nip him a little bit. That will be a 17. Does that hit?
Let me see. I have an 18 armor class, so that is I too. You poke through my doublet, and I let out a sound of like oh, but my chainmail turns it. You are quite
All right.
skilled.
As are you. You shall be mighty helpful in the battle.
We certainly do for a little bit more, but I don't want to delay the actual campaign itself. I just
Right.
I know
So
that Elias.
you all practice over the next day. You see many of the paper dragon messengers coming and going from this great ship. The ship is moving quite rapidly, but you realize that something of this size is not the fastest around. There are other flying small ships, 2-man and squad-sized ships coming and going from the deck that is about 300 yards long, and it has 6 great sails, 3 on either side pointing sideways, and it is moving quickly due north across the open plains. Night comes and goes, and then late on the evening of the second day, you all start to smell something. The smell of rotting meat. It's distant, but everybody on board seems to notice this. And eventually in the evening, just before the sun sets, everybody is running over to the side of the ship and looking down and pointing. Do you all want to go look?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Seems prudent.
Okay, so as you go look down upon the plain, you realize you are quite high in the air. And from this perspective, you are having a hard time understanding what you see. But down below is a great mass of something moving on the plain. And you realize that this is the enemy army that you have been looking for, that you know is going north. And by travel, people are calculating that it will be at the city in about 3 days, where you will be there in about 12 hours. The city is marching north, or the army is marching north. It is filled with all sorts of creatures that you cannot necessarily identify from this height, but you see many of the smaller airships going down and scouting and bringing back reports. And then the general comes on back on deck and calls everybody back to their posts and tells them to stop gawking. They will see soon enough, and they will be informed by their commanders what they will be dealing. So you all are told to return to your various areas and bunks. You have any speculations or anything that you want to go speak to anybody about?
Well, I'd like to hear any reports from the scouts as to what we're heading toward, if at all possible.
Okay. And so you give word to one of the aides that you would like to speak to the general, and the general comes and says, "Yes, I was going to come speak to you later, but now is just as good a time as any. There are a herd of unknown creatures that give off a foul stench. Anybody that gets close enough begins to retch out their guts from the smell and from something on the air. We can smell it even all the way up here. It smells of death. There are what appear to be giant insect-like forms. Something that we were told are centipeds. There is a mass of them. There are other creatures that we have yet to identify, as well as something that looks like very large trolls. And the numbers are staggering, where we have about 1,000 crewmen on board and 750 soldiers total. Their numbers are close to 10,000. So we will see what the city has mustered. The city should have adequate defenses. The dwarves and the kobolds have fortified with plenty of time. So prepare yourselves. We will be landing about 7 o'clock in the morning.
Do you have weapons on board this vessel to perhaps soften the army up a bit?
We are presently dropping bombs on them, gnomish explosives, but it seems that many of the creatures are shrugging off all but the worst of the destruction.
Doesn't bode well.
We do not have a lot of cannon or other. We have some in storage ready to be offloaded along with the troops, but we took off most of the armament of this vessel in order to make room for extra troops. Prepare yourselves, and we will talk again in the morning. And so he leaves you dinner, which is basically a porridge, is distributed among all the crew, and you all have another night of rest.
Even though it is not necessary, out of habit and long-standing, and to bolster morale, you all hear the sound of a lute string up, and a song of rest begins to play, and you hear the sound, footprints in the snow. An old bluegrass song begins to filter through, and you just feel that it's very easy to take your rest this evening.
Plunger spends the evening praying to his patron, the Black Pearl.
I have a question. Does the Black Pearl ever talk back?
Not typically the actual physical Black Pearl that they keep around on their waist.
All right. So again, the night passes quickly. You quickly outstrip and surpass the army, heading far, far north in the night. And as you come into the mountains, you see a great mountain city carved into the side of this mountain range. The general is nearby and says, "This is Moscaderm." And down below on the parapets, you see a great, long, serpentine dragon that is covered in golden white fur. It is serpentine, and it is flowing there, floating above the walls by magic. It has no wings, but it has 2 arms and 2 legs, and a very long tail, and almost a doggish-like face.
I'm a luck dragon.
And as you come in for a landing, you see at this landing field, you are landing behind big stone walls, and this giant battleship fills up this landing space so that there is barely room to get landing ramps down and get the crew and the soldiers off. You see many, many dwarves in all types of armor, and you see an interesting dog-like race, which you realize are furry kobolds. These are northern kobolds. They have fur instead of scales. You recognize the yipping language of the kobolds. You see some regular of the southern kobolds, the dragon-like kobolds, also mixed in. But this city is filled with dwarves and northern kobolds.
Did the kobolds speak like typical, like semi-draconic?
They speak semi-draconic. They speak common.
Okay.
And they speak dwarven here as well.
Cool.
Plunger is asking some of them what their feelings are on hot single ancient water elementals.
Some of the kobolds are very interested in what you have to say, but they are very busy as well, and so they don't have time to talk.
Before we engage, once again, I pull out my new loot, which is almost like a dark purple. It's like lacquered to a shine, and it is clearly magical. And I bring it up, and I turn to everyone, and I say, you will need this in what is to come. And I'm going to sing Clinch Mountain Backstep. and you feel the strength of the mountain flow through you. You now all have enhance ability for advantage on all Constitution saving throws. You also gain 2, and that's another 2. You gain 4 temporary hit points.
Ooh, fancy.
But specifically, I wanted to give you enhance ability Constitution because we're about to face possibly a bunch of things that are really stinky, and I want y'all to have advantage on not having to suddenly retch.
That's appreciated.
That sounds like a good plan.
Kinda love that.
Because I'm level 15, I can cast it on all of you.
Yay, love that.
And so you all are led up the stairs to the side of these walls where the great dragon Fruzar Membranth is waiting and is preparing to speak to you.
Plunger plunges on ahead.
Ha.
All right. And so you all are taken up there to meet the king of this city, the lord of the city. And he turns his great shaggy head to you, which is still immensely huge. He's not near as big as Amal Marduk or Skilpata, but he is still very, very large and speaks to you in a breathy growl. Welcome to my city. Thank you for coming to defend. Have you been filled in on why we are being attacked?
We would appreciate any perspective that you have on this to make sure we have the full measure of what is about to happen.
As you may realize from our dwarven citizens and from the kobolds here, we are a mining city. We have great, vast mines of all sorts of minerals, metals, and gems. We suspect from Queen Skilpata that one of the more rare minerals of Kanzath Onyx, which can be ground down and put into various elixirs as a reagent for causing the imbuing of chemicals and elixirs into the bloodstream, may be what this army is after. There is a great, huge meteorite that crashed here in the side of the mountain many years ago.
I turn and look at Grissom, and I say, you are known far and wide for your ability to find the rarest of spell components. Do you have any insight into this reagent or purposes?
TM, do I have any insight into this reagent or its purposes?
Yes, because you are an expert, you realize that this reagent, this mineral, is probably what is used to make the necromantic elixir that reacts so quickly. And the more of it they can get, that the more people they can infect and the quicker they can infect them. The greater the concentration, the more infectious any disease or potion that is imbued with it would become.
Yes, this material is used to enhance the volatility and effectiveness of diseases that one might inflict. So it's important that we keep this away from them as much as possible.
I adjust my left glove, something you may have noticed that he does whenever he's a little tense, and say, we are entirely at your disposal. Do you suspect that the army will cross close to the waters, or do you think they will primarily be on land?
They will come straight, it appears they will come straight across the plain to the entrance of the city. We have the mountain streams that feed us fresh water from above. They would have to go a long way around to get in those. Those have many waterfalls and are not a direct shipping route to get up to us. So our water supply is safe.
Oh, good.
Our walls are secure. The gates are secure. We do not see any siege vehicles with them, so we do not know how they plan on assaulting us.
There's so many of them. Do you think there's any possibility they're going to use themselves as siege equipment? Perhaps scaling the walls?
I assume that would be possible.
If they are centipedes, they would be able to climb. They might even be able to climb the sides of the mountain, head toward areas you might not expect.
That is a good thought. We will prepare oil and repelling materials here on the parapets. That is a good thought. Thank you for that.
Of course.
And he sends people away to do that and tells you all to prepare yourselves.
Any thoughts on how we might best approach this situation? I'm thinking there must be leaders that perhaps we can focus on.
I think that is very wise, and with us having the time that we do, if we could set some kind of trap or spring something untowards on them. That's why I was asking about the water, because I know we have this very talented Triton folk here, but I'm just trying to think of a way that we might make things difficult for them before they ever get to the city.
Of course. I personally don't have a lot of long-term effects that I can partake of. I could perhaps improve any trenching that they might have, dealing with the earth around the walls.
And is certainly potentially very helpful. I myself, it is not my way to have long-lasting spells. I'm not a powerful wizard or anything of that nature.
The general and several of his commanders are there as well, and they say, the city is well fortified with pit traps around the base of the walls, and in the entrance of the city, the city gate has a ravine that goes below it, and the city gate and drawbridge can be raised to prevent people from coming in. The problem is we don't know the capabilities of these various creatures. Apparently, the stench of the monsters, these creatures, is quite potent. We are setting up an oil trap out upon the plain, where when they cross, we will set it on fire and catch many of them, we hope, and burn them where they are, helping to reduce the smell and the contagion of whatever they are bringing.
Do you have the elixir that was produced some time ago for the plague that took place many years ago?
Yes. Queen Scopada sent us many, many crates along with your supplies on the battleship.
Excellent. His voice gets very dark. We do not want anything like that ever again.
We have been told of those that have experienced it, and we want to make sure that it does not happen again. You are quite right. And so everybody is preparing for what is to come. And as you all are watching over the plains, you can see a great dust cloud in the distance. And you are told that the army will be here much sooner than expected because they do not seem to be stopping for rest.
It is very likely they will be tired. Yes, we can use that to our advantage. Strike hard, strike fast. We need to, I agree with you, if we have any ability to identify the leaders and target them first in order to break their concentration and morale. Does anyone have any ability to scout or anything like that? Or have your scouts identified anything, good king?
They have all these, there are these 6-legged bovine creatures that they seem to be herding in front of them that are producing the stench. There is a great army of those centaurpedes coming behind. They are flanked by several contingents of what seem to be some sort of troll, but they say they look bigger and worse than what we would consider regular trolls, as if their skin was sloughing off.
Oh my. Perhaps undead?
Most disturbing.
So it does appear as if we are dealing with necromantic powers here. But there is something else, because we have sent people to try, and we have sent clerics to turn undead and to fight against these undead or whatever they are, but very little has affected them from a divinity point. They just keep coming. So something has changed, or something is interfering with the divine powers of our priests.
Most disturbing.
And so I would counsel you to get your rest, because something is going to happen rather soon, and we would have everybody at their best before it does.
Good advice. I should adjust some of my spells to compensate for this situation.
That would be a good plan. And so you all are dismissed to go and find a place to prepare yourselves and to figure out what you are going to do.
I have a question. About how far across is the parapet to the city?
The outer wall spans a good quarter mile, and it is ranged on either side by steep mountainsides that have been, it looks like, groomed to be very steep and perform a natural barrier into. And the city is carved into the mountainside going up. So as you all prepare your spells, you can see brief flashes of light as flying vehicles seem to be dropping things on the advancing army in the distance. At this distance, they are merely pinpricks of light exploding in the distance. And it almost, if in the middle of the night, if everything was quiet enough, you could hear the brief explosions peppering like thunder blasts from the distance. And as you all wake and go about your business during the night, you can tell that they are getting closer. Then around 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning, when the sun is coming up, it is crisp and cool. The air hangs heavy. A mist lays over the ground. Everybody is tense on the walls, and the army is coming, and you feel the vibration of the ground of so many feet coming from far away. They are not marching. It is just a constant rumble of a stampede. And you see the general next to the dragon standing there, and he raises his arm and drops it. And as the coming army crosses a certain line, a burst of flame and a giant arc of oiled land catches fire, and the army continues to march through it, catching fire. And those that are moving do not seem affected by the flames or deterred. And so they continue to rush forward. You see small paper dragons coming and delivering messages, some of which you overhear, that many of the bovine creature, the six-legged bovine creatures, have fallen to the fire, but there were so many that they tramped it out, and the army behind it was unaffected. And so the army will be at the walls in about 15 minutes. Do you have anything that you want to do?
Well, first, we'll assume that I recast that spell for Constitution once again, so that everyone is ready. We will just pretend that I did that the first time now, and it was very, very impressive. But as far, I've gently decided that perhaps I will not be casting Fireball, because it did not seem to be terribly effective against them. So we need to look at other things.
It was not effective because there were so many.
It was not like they were immune. They were just too many.
No, they were sacrificial beasts in the front, and the ones that burned were just trampled over. There was just so many that it didn't have the desired effect because the army, the mass of the stampede and the army behind it is so great that they did not worry about the condition of those in front and just walked through it, drove through it.
I assume that there's a main gate somewhere in the area, on the parapet,
yes,
along the front wall. I want to station myself on the parapet above the main gate.
Okay. The gate has been pulled up. The drawbridge has been pulled up. The great ravine in front of the wall looks like it has been filled with oil as well. And so they are quite ready or as ready as they can be for this assault.
What I plan to do is when they get anywhere near the area of the main gate, like outside the trenches, I'm going to cast control winds, and I'm going to have it blow horizontally out and away from us, so that I can minimize the effects of the stench in that area. It'll cover 100-foot cubic area. So it'll cover a nice wide swath in front of the main gate to disperse that as they're coming in.
All right. And the army continues to come. This mass of these six-legged bovine creatures, as they get close to you, you can start to smell the rancid smell of rotting meat. And they are just being driven forward at breakneck speeds until they crash into the wall. They are pouring into the ravine. The ravine is lit, and the smell of burning flesh and this rotten smell, fortunately, is being driven away by your wind control spell. And for about 50 yards in every direction, these creatures stack up upon each other, and you just hear this mewling, lowing sound of like cattle, but it sounds just loud and sickening. And then just out of archery range, the army starts to pour in with these giant trolls on the sides, on the flanks. And then you see as well something that looks like a giant centipede on either side, also coming up, flanking the army and the bovine. The flame under the gate is burning furiously at all these creatures that are falling in, but it is quickly being guttered and overwhelmed by the sheer mass of bodies piling up. And these great centipedes start going up the side walls on either side of the great wall around the city. What are you going to do?
Elias looks out, and he has never been in an actual war. Like, he's fought in innumerable skirmishes and even small little battles and stuff, but he's never faced anything like this before. And he's feeling kind of overwhelmed. And he turns and looks at his companions and see if they have any ideas.
I know a few spells that can be used for crowd control. I am currently trying to decide what will be the largest way to stop them, whether a wall of water or a sphere of the void, this sort of thing. I have a lot of different elements at my disposal.
Well,
and while you're deciding, this swarm of centaurpedes is climbing over the backs of all these bovine creatures and making their way towards the walls and beginning to ascend up these 30-foot walls.
Yeah, you called it, Gnarl.
I will just send out a barrage of fire bolts at anything that's coming up the walls as I'm there, just to assist any archers or what have you that they have there.
Okay. And they're effective. These creatures don't seem to be wearing any heavy armor, but the sheer number of them, this gray, purple, pink mass of insectoid flesh comes crawling up the wall, and as it reaches the top of the wall, you all are being called as those giant centipedes are pulling with their tails these trolls up the sides of the walls to the parapets. And now there are giant centipedes at the verge and these trolls getting ready to surmount at either end of the parapets.
Alrighty, I'm gonna cast Gust of Wind, which is something that I have the ability to do as a line of strong wind, 60 feet long and 10 feet wide, blasts from you in a direction you choose. So I'm going to lean over the edge of the wall here. The spell's duration is concentration up to a minute, and every creature must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 away from me. And that spell save DC is going to be an 18.
Okay. And so down the line, that wind blows, and the troll makes a save with a 24, and the centipede does not, and fails with a 7. And so the troll grabs onto the wall as the centipede is blown back down, hanging by its legs, and the troll is rolling for initiative. So everybody please roll for initiative.
Woo!
Kill ourselves, troll.
That is an 18. That is an 18 for Elias.
14
13
for
13.
Edalin.
And I got a whopping 3.
13 for
13 for Plunger.
All right. Plunger, what's your dex?
That is a +2, a 14.
And Edalin, what's your dex?
Plus,
I think you got a 14, didn't you?
I got a 13. Did I
Okay, we
say
did get the
14?
same number.
Or, yeah.
I don't know. We spoke at almost the same time, so I didn't hear very well.
Plunger? All right. Adalin, what's your dex?
Plus 4 for 17.
I
Okay, so
think
you
that's
go
larger
first.
than the +2.
And Grissom?
Oh, I just have a +1.
No, what's your initiative?
Oh, 3.
Okay. And the troll got an 11. And so, are you all of you going to attack it? Plunger is right there casting the spell.
Yes.
Or are you going to at the other end as well?
I feel like splitting the party is probably not a good idea. Should probably focus on one and move on to the other.
Aw. Don't ruin my fun. All right. Elias, you get to go first.
So I will take a step forward. I feel there are extremely offensive things I can do right now, but I feel the desire to fortify first, and I pull out my lute and I give it a strum, and you hear like a call go out, and this is a lute that I found several years ago on a quest. And it's called Baldrassi's Bane. And when I cast it once per battle, I can summon a spiritual guardian. And I'm going to roll a 1d4 here. That is a 2. So a lizard folk comes out of the shadows a tall, thin male lizard folk holding a guitar. And he nods to me, and I nod back to him, and he goes forward to attack anyone who is in my range. And that is a ability of this. It is not. That is my bonus action.
Cool.
As my action, I will turn to Edalin, and I will say, I do most sincerely hope that this will be nothing but a help and not a hindrance. And I hit my lute one more time. You hear a song called the Bluegrass Stomp, and I stomp my feet again and again and again, and it goes faster and faster and faster. And Eladrin, you now have haste cast upon you.
Ooh.
And as part of haste, you now have +2 to your armor class. Your speed is doubled. You have advantage on all dexterity throws, and you gain 1 additional action each turn.
Whoa.
Which includes an attack. The only downside is in 1 minute you're not going to feel so great. So I am taking a tremendous risk with this being in a battle, and I'm taking it on a companion without asking them. So sorry about that, but I have done so. And now I would like to. Are there any creatures in range of my spiritual guardian within 15 feet of me?
The troll is probably at the end of the parapet. Is probably a good 100 yards away from you.
Okay.
So no.
And because it is within 15 feet of me. This lizard folk is walking back and forth, and you can see it kind of strumming its lute. And every time it does, there's a very small but very radiant flash of light as it strums. I'm sorry, it's fiddle. No, I'm sorry, it's guitar. As it moves forward 15 feet in front of me, kind of flitting in and out of reality.
Okay.
And that is my turn.
All right. And then we have Edalin.
All right. Feeling empowered. And she looks over at you and nods her head and says, "For everything my family has done to you, I thank you. I will do great honor towards you in the face of what my brother has done. I shall attack. Thank you." And I rage. And she pulls out her claw club, different from the silver mace from earlier, and heads toward the giant thing.
Giant troll.
Yeah, that's the word.
It's going to take you at a dash about 2 rounds to get there.
Then I will.
I feel like we'd have gotten closer before we started activating powers.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to cast Divine Smite instead on the creature.
Okay. You're not close enough to hit him with Divine Smite.
Okay, I've never played a paladin. I thought it was a spell.
Yeah, Divine Smite is part of an attack.
Okay.
Part of a physical attack.
Good to know.
And your speed is doubled, so you can cost
So,
twice
see.
as much with haste activated.
Yeah, what's your movement?
Speed's 40. So doubled would be 80.
80. And a dash, that would be 160. Yeah. All right. And do you have any bonus actions? Any bonus action spells you want to cast? So you get about half. You cover about half the distance.
Okay. For now, no. No.
Okay. Plunger.
Let's see here. Let's see here. So paint me a word picture here. Is he at the same height as us and just 300 feet away, or the troll, or has the troll got over the wall and we're just he's at the edge of the wall and we're 300 feet away from him?
He has been brought up to the parapet by the centipede that you blew off, and he is at the far end of the parapet. There are soldiers and Edalin in front of you, He is about 12 feet tall, a very large creature, and he's getting ready to swing at soldiers.
Well, lucky for him, I have a warlock ability called Eldritch Spear, which means that that my Eldritch Blast has a range of 300 feet. So I am going to cast Eldritch Blast at him. I need to make a ranged spell attack. Let's see here. That is
for each blast.
Yeah. Yes. Since I am a 11, I am above 11th level but below 17th level. That means I get 3 beams separate. Yes, thank you. It does say separate attack roll. So that's a. Let's see what my spell modifier is. A 10. So that's 15. And 16 and 19. Which of those hit?
His armor class is a 15.
So all 3 of those hit.
All 3 hit.
So that means, and since I have the Agonizing Blast cantrip, he is going to take 1d10 plus charisma, or I guess 3d10 each plus charisma modifier. That's no good for him. So let's see, which one even is the D10? Yes, my trusty companion. I've missed you since Merezi. So that's, let's see. I'm counting it up here. 14 plus 11. Getting out my pens and paper. I'm like a real nerd. Yes. Plus 10. So 30. Beautiful. And I guess I will use all 30 feet of my movement. Let's see, let me double check here that there's nothing else I can do. I have a bonus action I could do, but it will probably be more prudent to do it once I actually get close to my enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. Call high or low.
High.
Okay. So your blast knocks him back and off balance. And I am rolling to see whether he falls inside the courtyard or outside off the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Woohoo!
And that is low. So he falls inside the courtyard with a massive chunk of his shoulder blown off where you hit him. And you just spun him like a top, and he falls down and lands prone on the ground with a great thump, and takes an additional 3d6 damage.
Oh, gee.
And that is another 12 points of damage.
Whoopee!
And so he is hurt, but as trolls tend to move, he is up and moving with half of his movement. It is his turn. What did you say you were doing for your bonus action? I'm sorry.
How close is he to me now?
He is still about 300 yards, or yeah.
You had said 100 yards, so
100 yards away from you.
Yeah, so that was 300 feet.
And then he's of course down 30 feet below.
Cool. I don't think I'll use my my cool fathomless bonus action yet.
Okay. And so as he is getting up, he gets up and it takes half his movement, and then he turns towards the city. He does not turn towards you, and he starts moving through the gate, inner gate into the city, and is ignoring you. And so that takes you to Grissom.
Is this thing moving fast, or do we even have a chance to catch it?
It is not moving fast. It is heavily damaged now, and it does not seem to be running. It is just moving with purpose.
Okay. You know what? I think I am going to split the party. Since these Eldritch Blasts seem to be doing quite some damage to this thing, and the speedy one, the now speedy one, has a better chance to catch this thing than I do. I'm going to turn to Heartstring and say, I'm going to fight the other one. You can join me if you like, or follow them. It's your choice. And I'm going to turn and start running in that direction. And as I'm running, I'm going to pull out my scimitar and activate it so it bursts into flame as I'm running.
Okay. And as you start in the other direction, you see this giant centipede pulling this troll up over the wall. And they continue to go over the wall, down below into the courtyard.
Of course.
There are cries from all around you, and you hear one of the generals yelling that they are going for the Kansas Onyx.
Okay. Are they running in a straight line? Are they angling in toward more the center? So I can meet them halfway, that kind of thing? What's happening with that?
The ones that are coming over the wall that didn't fall down, they are taking the stairs down as the quickest route, and so they are coming towards you. There is another set of stairs that you can meet them you meet them in the courtyard.
Okay, I will do that.
All right, and so now the centipede is coming into the battle. And, all right, so that's interesting. Elias, it is your turn.
All right. I definitely take his cue, and especially because I know him the best, even though very slightly, I will follow behind. As I do so, I will strum my guitar once and say, "Gnarl, you are an unstoppable bull of destruction," and I will cast Bardic Inspiration on you.
What's the die?
And that is a 1d12.
A 12? Oh, fancy
pants. Yes, because
okay.
I am level 15. So that is my bonus action. You can now add 1d12 to any general roll as I move forward. And how many creatures are in front of us right now that we see? Is it mainly these first ones, or is there like a big chunk of them?
The troll, the giant troll, and the giant centipede have come up over the wall, and the other giant troll has fallen down into the courtyard. They are the main ones. You hear the city guards are fending off the centauripedes that are coming up the wall. So none of them have breached the wall yet. There are approximately 50 city guards lining the wall on either side of you.
By the way, has the wind that I've been producing been hindering them in any way? It does cause anybody in that wind area to move at half speed. But
there
I don't
is
know if it's worth the effort.
A gap where your wind is blowing. The centipede army has split and is going around either side.
Okay, so they're a little more concentrated at least. That's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave it going then.
And so there is oil being dumped down the walls. There is arrows being fired and pole arms pushing creatures off the wall and stabbing them down.
Are these two large creatures? Are they say I'm just going to throw out a thing here within a say 20-foot radius of each other?
They are rapidly approaching to the center line, main street of the city. Trying to get into the main city, and so they are drawing close to each other. But let's see. Let's roll and see how close they are. They are still about 40 feet apart from each other.
Okay, and that is not as advantageous as I would hope. And my spell on Edalin is concentration, so I do not wish to drop that.
I mean, if you were going to fireball, for instance, you could set it right between the two of them, because it's a 20-foot radius, so 40 foot across.
Oh, that is true. That is absolutely true.
I will probably hit both of them.
I will. I kind of like start to waver, and then you kind of like gesture, like, like right about there. Do you think maybe? And I was like, oh, well, how about that? And I come I come a few more steps forward. My hope is that I can come within 15 feet of the closest one. Well, no, I guess that would... 15 feet of the closest one, but far enough away that I can cast it within 20 feet of them two. Because my hope is that I will trigger my spiritual guardian to attack the closest one while still using fireball on the two. I don't know if you need me to roll for that or anything. I'm going to try to make that happen.
Well, roll for the fireball.
Oh, yes. So I begin to play a song that's called Dim Lights and Thick Smoke. And when I hit smoke, my hand comes up from the lute, and a massive fireball comes out of my left hand. You see like a radiance come out from underneath my glove, and this fireball just comes out and detonates right between these two large creatures, which does 8d6 fire damage.
Fantastic.
What's your save DC?
Oh, yes. Save for half is a dex saving throw of 18. And do I add anything to that?
Not unless you've got any bonuses.
No, I don't.
All three of them failed their saves with a 4, a 6, and a 7.
So that is 25, 6, 7. So that is 27 points of fire damage to all three of them. And I'm going to attempt to move close enough to trigger my spiritual guardian. I'm going to roll a quick thing here. That's a 3. With a 3, the lizard folk winks out of existence, and a young, beautiful tiefling woman comes up, and she's got a fiddle in her hand. And you can hear the fiddle, and it's just playing in a haunting way. And Elias gets a very longing look on his face, and he nods to her, but she does not turn as she moves towards the nearest one, which is the one that's close.
To you, they're all almost directly in front of you. They are down in the courtyard, and you all would have to go. You're all going down the stairs to engage them.
Okay, so if I'm not within 15 feet, then it would not trigger then. But I will continue to move closer then.
Let me see how close you are now. You're within 30 feet.
Okay, well, I needed to get 15 in order to trigger my spiritual guardian, which makes sense. So I'm continuing to try to take advantage of that because it's an automatic attack anytime they are within range of it. But that will end my turn.
All right, and so we come to Edalin. You can easily engage this round.
Wonderful. As she approaches the, oh my gosh, giant, what's his name?
Troll.
Thank you. As she approaches...
You can call him Bob.
As she approaches the troll, she brings out her giant claw club and prepares to lay it down right on top of him and goes in for her first attack.
Okay.
That is a nat 20 for a first attack.
Ooh.
Love that. Alright, so that is critical. So I'm assuming that hits just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Alright. So max damage, let's 28. And that's double damage, correct?
Oh yeah.
Alright, so
Double everything.
8, 7. So 17 plus 17. I work in a bank.
34.
34. Thank you. I'm very tired. I'm very cold. 34 points of damage for her first hit. As she had dashed down at insane speeds, drives the claw up and brings it smack down on him, kind of leaning towards the side his shoulder was just hit, and gets ready for the next swing.
Okay. You're about as tall as its hip.
Oh, lovely.
So,
all right, I hit his hip then. Great.
Okay. And it is a devastating blow. He was already heavily damaged, and you come in and just smash his pelvis sideways with your claw club, and he goes down hard.
Beautiful. All right, let's see. That is 25 to hit, I'm assuming.
Definitely hits.
Yeah. That should be 19 points of damage then.
Okay. You hit him while he's down. It is not moving at all.
Yeah, alright. I'm assuming he's dead then.
He appears to not be moving.
I don't like that.
That's quite so
we're gonna walk over, and with the third attack that comes from whatever spell was placed, we're gonna try and do one final attack towards his face or sternum neck.
Okay.
That is a 19, so that makes it a critical, which is nice. So that is 26 plus 26, so 52.
Jeez.
Dang.
It is dead. Yeah. Normally they would regenerate, but you have done in your 3 attacks the total amount of hit points that it had. So it is splattered, a paste upon the pavement. The fire damage that it had done, you've done enough damage to keep it from regenerating. The other 2 are continuing on, and there are city guards that are attacking them, but they are being knocked out of the way, almost as if they are unconcerned, and they are beginning to dash and run towards whatever target they have.
Edalin raises her club and screams, "For the Lord name! For honor of my family!" And gets ready for the next round.
All right. Plunger?
Alrighty, what is the nearest killable thing within me? With respect to me.
So there are... All right, you're coming down the stairs, or are you staying up on the wall?
That's a good question. Is there anything within 90 feet of movement of me?
Yeah, you can get to the troll, the semi-healthy troll, and the centipede that were hit by the fireball, the giant centipede.
I like this plan. Okay, yeah. My movement speed is 30 feet of walking, but I also have something that is within 60 feet. All right, I'm gonna move towards them. So I apologize that I'm not. I don't have a perfect map of this quite in my head yet. Am I going down the stairs to do that at the courtyard, or am I still up on the wall?
You are most of the way down the stairs with your companions.
Cool.
And so you have been moving with the battle towards them.
Okay, let's see. I've got a few different things I can be doing here. I believe my greatest father did confirm that these 2 guys are within, say, a 20-foot spell radius of each other.
Yes.
And nobody else, right?
There are some city guards. And actually, Edalin is not too far away. Edalin is within 20 feet.
Okay, that definitely gives me some, that gives me, what to know. Let's see.
Okay, so let me describe this a little bit better. So you come down to this massive courtyard. There are all these stairs going down, and it leads to the massive city inner gate to a wide road that goes up into the city. There are city guards that are trying to block the passage. There are fortifications and along the inner wall. And so you all are down in the courtyard behind these 2 creatures, and Edalin is standing next to or in the mess of the puddled troll.
Cool.
And the giant centipede and the giant troll are trying to get into the city.
Okay, yeah, I think I have a plan of action. I'm going to first cast Eldritch Blast at the troll. That is, let's see. My 3 attack rolls are Ooh, that's a nat 1. Don't know if I'd do the 1d100 if it ain't a melee attack. Or if we're doing that in this this particular iteration.
I'm not sure how did we do that with spell attacks, Michael?
Oh well, we're not doing the thing where you can cast spells and attack interchangeably anymore.
Right.
Since we're on 5e now, so.
But yeah, I just mean the fumble table.
Failure.
Oh yeah, no, we're still doing that because you said you wanted to still do that. So just roll the percentage die and let us know what you get.
57.
Nothing. Just missed.
Alrighty, and then for my next 2, we've got. Oh my gosh! Would you believe it? Let's roll that percentage die. Okay, let's see.
Oh no!
I forget. Is a 0 on the percentage die a 100? Or is it like a 0 as in...
Unless you roll all 3 zeros, that would be 100.
Yeah.
2 zeros and a number is just that
Single
low
digits.
number.
Yeah.
Single digits.
Okay, yeah, I think I've never really grasped how to roll a d10 to make a d100, so I've rolled a 0, and then a 10, and then a 30. What does that get me?
That's too many dice.
Yeah.
You only need 2 dice. Well, the double digit is the tens place, and the single digit is the ones place.
Okay. Then the 0 and the 5.
So you rolled a 5.
That's just a 5.
There you go.
You're fine.
Beautiful. Okay. Right. Okay. I've learned something today.
I am so pleased you are not dead.
Okay. Let's see about that third Eldritch Blast, huh? 13. That's not his armor class if he has the same armor class as the other troll.
Nope. And as your Eldritch Blast fly past him and almost hit some of the city guards,
Hey!
you notice that there is something on the back of the troll and the centipede, but you can't quite tell what it is.
Well, with my bonus action, I Plunger lets out a few Tritonic curse words. I guess that's abyssal. Something that's some sort of language. And grasping at the black pearl, clutching on their chest, on their core, they invoke the warlock trait Tentacle of the Deep, and summon a spectral tentacle that is placed between the troll and the centaurpede. It's a 10-foot-long tentacle, sort of squiddy in nature. It'll last for a minute, and when I create it, I can make a melee spell attack against one creature within 10 feet of it. So that's going to be 23 against the troll.
Okay, that hits.
Thankfully, and that is so many years of playing D&D, and I still have to really think about it, trying to reach for a D8 as opposed to a D6 or a D4. That is 7 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet until the start of my next turn, and that is my action.
Okay. When it hits, it takes almost no damage, and it does not seem to be affected by the cold.
Oh boy.
All right. And as you all are getting down into the courtyard, you see this troll stop and turn around to block the way, and the centipede rears up and unfolds a set of arms and begins running at a higher rate of speed towards the city. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Oh, I don't get my last turn of the round.
Nope.
Oh, I guess I can. I don't know.
Because I was going to do something real cool.
All right. We'll give you one turn to do something really, really cool.
If it's not cool, a dragon comes and kills your character immediately.
That's
a rock falls on you and you die.
That's fine. So as I'm running up, you mentioned there was something on their back. Can I kind of glance at that area and see what's going on there as I'm running up to them?
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
All right. That is a 22.
There seems to be some sort of humanoidish creature melded into the back of both of these creatures.
Okay. Then I'm going to include them in my attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run up, and as I get close enough, Grissom starts to kind of flicker in and out of existence really fast, like bup, 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 bup. And then he flashes out, and kind of like a translucent version of Grissom kind of appears near the troll and the centipede and at the backs of both of them, because they seem to be a separate entity. And they all kind of just swing all at once at all four of them, and then he reappears right next to the troll with his sword in his hand. And all of them need to make a... Oh, I have to make a spell attack on each of them. Okay. All right, so I'm going to do the troll first. Nice. That is 26 to hit.
That hits.
And then I will do the centipede. That is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
And then the whatever it is on the troll's back. That's even more. That's 27. And the last one for the other one is a 23. So They are all going to take 6d10 force damage.
Wow. That is awesome.
4, 5. I am in the middle of casting a spell called Steel Wind Strike, which is my new favorite spell. What have we got? Oh, nice. That's 43 points of force damage to each of them.
Okay, so this force strikes out and hits the troll and just literally blasts it apart to where flesh falls off, bone is exposed, and muscle is ripped asunder, and it looks like this creature that is wrapped or melded into it is blown off, and all the damage goes to the troll, and the troll is just a puddle of goo and broken bones. And the giant centipede is likewise hit, and does not seem to take as much damage from the force of the hit.
Okay.
And basically all the damage that the centipede takes is halved, and the creature that is melded on its back seems to be unharmed.
Oh.
The one that was on the troll looks like it has taken damage. It is another sort of centipede. Looked like it is made out of the flesh and bones of the troll, and it begins skittering away up towards the city.
Ooh.
Yikes.
And so
That's not
that
good.
will be where we end this session. That was really cool.
Thank you. No stones, no dragons. Thank you very much.
Very, very cool. And so we will continue this the next time we meet. And thank you all for joining us. Michael, would you tell everyone where we can be found?
I sure can, friends. Of course, you can go to chafingarmor.com to see the whole shebang. But what I want to recommend is you go to patreon.com/chafingarmor, where you can become a Patreon member, join our Discord, hang out with our silliness, see my amazing cosplays, as well as all kinds of other cool stuff we have going on. That's a great way to support this show and keep us from adding ads like that Casper who just keeps coming back. Go to Chafing Armor. Yes, go to patreon.com/ Chafing off.
Thank you all, and we hope to see you again as we scratch your itch for your need for roleplay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.
Sweet dreams.